Hello, hello. Okay, the stream seems to be functioning. So, yeah, everything's functioning. Great. Okay, so we're gonna focus on the codes that has been written in here. Okay, we're just gonna take a look at it, and then we're gonna move to the next project. Okay, I'm just going to switch the sounds to my headset.
The user chose 0 for rock,
Okay.
then the user should win rather than the computer win.
Okay, user takes the input in here, user input. Then we take the computer choice from, okay, and then, okay, interesting. So you see the final product. That's not the final product actually, okay. So she uses an if statements and logical operators. So the user gives scissors or bigger than that, or if the user gives something below 0, we just catch, the error. Okay, interesting. Then we have this choice, then this choice. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, this is a better way to actually print what the computer chose and the user chose, rather than repeating that in all of these print statements. So we're just gonna take this one and we're just gonna delete it from here and from here as well. Okay, delete this one as well, just to make the code more readable. Okay, there is no need of these lines. Okay, this one as well, there is no need. Okay, so after we took the decisions, we just print them just one time. That's all what we need. Okay, and then we do the if statements. There is an interesting if statement that I didn't do, which is to catch the error if the input was incorrect. So this is the thing that I'm going to do. So I'm going to make an if statement and make if the player choice was actually bigger or equal to 3. No. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Or if the user or player input or choice was below 0, then we're gonna print this, and we're gonna call this u typed an invalid number. Okay, you lose. Okay, perfect. So let's just try this and type, for example, 3. Oh my god. So we have an error right away. Interesting. Okay, that's comprehensible, I guess. So this doesn't make any sense actually. So why is that? So we take this as number 3, we transform that to an integer. Oh yeah, because the list index is out of range. Okay, interesting. Okay. We could actually make this if statement in here. Okay, let's just get this back. Take this one, if statement, and so the player makes his decision over here. Okay, we could make it over here. So let's try that. Oh, yeah, that's correct. So if that was the case, then we are going to exit from this code execution. Yeah. Oh, yes, I have imported that. That's great. So just type 3. Then we have this error. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Make a little bit of spaces over here. Yeah, so it's a little bit cleaner than before. It's not perfect actually, but it does the job. Okay, so we could actually move this one from here to here, computer choice. We don't have the player choice. That we could actually make an integer rather than this line. We could just put here int and make this function over here. So we just try that out, and here as well. Okay, perfect. So this should be working just fine. So if we inputted 3, we lose. If we inputted 1, then we have paper, yeah, and the computer had a rock. Okay, that's correct. That's beautiful and correct. Okay, it's way better, way cleaner. Interesting. So we could actually take the cases where we win and actually make them in one if statement. So here it's a tie, so we're not gonna take that. So we're gonna just merge these two elif statements, and we could just take this one and delete it. Okay, and we could just add here our statement and with parentheses, and we could just add this or here. Okay, so f this and this, or could we add here parentheses as well? Let's just check that if that's even possible. Okay, yes, this one's way clearer to read. So if this statement is correct, then you win, or if this statement is correct, then you win. Okay, so these are the statements that you win at. So we just delete this one, and actually there is no need for this one because you're not gonna win at this case. Okay, right. It's just no. It's not gonna function because here, which are scissors, do not defeat, the rock. But in this case, if here, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, if you had, for example, 2 and here's 0, you should actually lose it, not win. Okay, so we catch this case before, then we do catch this afterwards. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's just see how did she write this code. Okay, it has an if statement. I cached the she did it manually. So if the user had rock, then we have here scissors, you win. If the computer, so she did it actually very manually, so that will make a lot of elif statements, which is not healthy. Okay, good. So she has a worse syntax than me. See, she tells us that programming is like going to the gym. Let's hear that.
Hey, well done for completing day 4. I can see that
Yeah.
you're really
Yeah, thank you.
putting in the repetitions, putting in the practice, and this is what's going to take you really far. Because we all know that programming is not
Yeah, she has right. If you want to learn this, you'll have to do it daily. Check.
something that you can just learn passively. You can't sit in front of a TV, watch somebody talk about programming, and all of a sudden become a programmer. You have to put in the hours and
You have to put in the hours and the work. Yup, true.
the effort. It's a little bit like going to the gym, really. You're never going to become muscular and strong if you just watch a bodybuilding show, right?
Yeah, so I don't have to watch you. If I got stuck in one of your projects, maybe I don't know how this functions in here. So maybe we have here something that's interesting. Index errors and working with nested lists. This video might be interesting to actually work with. Okay. Then understand the offset and appending items to list. This is pretty easy. There's no need to actually know about that. Okay, good.
Even, if you watch Arnold Schwarzenegger every day, 8 hours, 8 hours a day, you will never develop those muscles that he has unless you actually hit the gym. So our version of the gym is coding. We're going to hit the coding editor and we're going to type every day until we get it.
Actually, to motivate yourself to actually type the keyboard is to have a target ahead. What do you want to do with this? What do you want to achieve? You have to have this goal before even starting.
So have a break, have a rest, and come back tomorrow refreshed. And we're going to put in some more reps and we're going to train you up to become a great programmer.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, guys, well done for sticking it through. You are now on day
Day
5
5.
of 100 Days
This is the day 5.
of Code. And today I've got a fun project for you. And the inspiration for the project comes from the fact that all sorts of companies seem to be getting hacked these days. Everything
They should be ethically hacked and not, unethically. So just in mind.
from Ashley Madison to Verizon, everybody seems to be really bad at keeping your password safe. So how can we make sure that these hackers who are in hoodies and wearing face masks don't get
Well, this is just a stereotype that doesn't exist.
to you and your account? I also don't know why hackers are always portrayed like this. I mean, they're in their own house. They don't have to
Yeah, they don't have to wear the hoodie, unless if it was cold or raining. Otherwise, it is just stereotype bullshit.
hide their face. But at least they're conscious of not spreading germs and staying warm, so that's good. But how do these hackers get into your account anyways? Well, one of the most common reasons is
Data breach, maybe. If they got a database, they could easily get in.
password reuse. Using the
Yeah, as well as that, don't reuse your password, use a password manager. And you don't have to remember any password anymore. It's all secure.
same password on 20 different sites, from Google to Facebook to Skype to Spotify to all the random services that we sign up to. The problem is that when one of these sites get hacked, then the email and password combination you used to sign up is compromised. So all the hacker has to do is try out those credentials on a bunch of other websites and see if
Yeah, so if you, for example, Steam wasn't that secure and you use the same email and password, then you could be vulnerable in all of these platforms as well. Google account is going to be taken down, Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, etc.
they work. So how would you know if your email and password is on a database somewhere? You can head over to Have I Been
that doesn't work actually. It's a very basic thing. Yes, it does tell you some information, but it's not enough actually. So let's just try it. Have I been pwned? Access the websites and then we input an email. Okay, so I had this email back then when I was a child, which is old email that I don't use anymore. Let's input it and see if it was hacked. Let's check. Oh, we have 4 data breaches. Okay, let's see. Yeah, French citizens in September 2024. Over 90 million rows of data on French citizens was found left exposed in a publicly facing database. Compiled from various data breaches, the corpus contains 28 million unique email addresses with the various source breaches, each exposing different fields including names, physical and IP addresses, phone number, and partial credit cards, data including payment type and last 4 digits. Compromised data, device information, email addresses, IP, etc. We have Avito, which is a Moroccan retail market. Okay, so in 2022, Moroccan e-commerce service Avito suffered a data breach that exposed the personal information of 2.7 million customers. The data include name, email, phone, IP address, and geographical location. And all of these has been exposed. Okay, so we have here Wakanim. Maybe it's I think a game company that develops games. So the European streaming service Wakanim suffered a data breach which was subsequently advertised and sold on a popular hacking forum. Okay, a popular hacking forum, there is a bunch of them. Anyways, the breach exposed 7.7 million customer records, including email, IP, and physical addresses, names, and usernames. So browser user agent details, email addresses, IP, names, and usernames. Then we have Deezer. I think this is a music streaming service. Yeah. Wow, that breach impacted over 240 million customers. That's a lot of emails and passwords. That's crazy though. Like here, I have 6 million, 2 million, here 28 million, but these are, my god, like this breach is crazy. Like 240 million. That's crazy number. So the breach dated back to a mid-2019 backup exposed by a third-party partner, which was subsequently sold and then broadly disputed on a popular hacking forum. Impact data included 229 million unique email addresses, IP addresses, names, usernames, gender. Okay, and this, I don't care, and the geographic location and customer. My god, this is crazy. Genders, they collect genders. That's why I don't use these type of services, because they collect your this one is normal, you input it, but they collect your genders, they correct your language that you speak with. My god. So there's a lot of pwned accounts, like 17 billion I guess, and 1,000 websites that has been successfully pwned. Interesting. So this is the database that haveibeenpwned.com has. Those are the breaches that affected that old email. Okay, interesting.
Haveibeenpwned.com, notice the spelling there, and type
Okay, so she types her
on at tesla.com.
a weird email, I guess. of
And it
Tesla.
tells us, oh no, it seems like this email has been pawned. And
Elon.
these were the websites
Elon
which
Musk.
got hacked, potentially leaking this email and its associated password. I actually recommend you to try out your own email addresses right now and see which services you signed up to have been compromised. But if you want better security, then you'll actually need unique passwords for each and every website. And they should really be strong passwords, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's correct. Don't use those. Okay, that's fun to know. Okay, so let's just complete to see
5, 6, or
so actually we're gonna make here, I remember we're gonna make here a password generator, I guess.
QWERTY.
We're gonna use the random module.
If I just called out your password, please change it. Now, what we're going to be building is exactly that. We're going to be building a password generator.
Yeah, true. So let's go to the project right away.
Now,
And we're gonna run the demo. This one is a very interesting project. So just start the demo. Okay. Okay, this is a password generator, and it is more of an app. You have to log in. The hell, I don't want to log in. Okay, so this is the only way to get in actually. There is indeed a demo. Okay, so let's get into that demo. Day 5, password generator project. Then we select the task. Okay, here's the demo. Let's run it. Okay, so how many letters would you like in your passwords? I would like actually 22 letters. How many symbols would you like? I would like 29 symbols. How many numbers would you like? 29. So this is the password that we have got. Very sophisticated one. Okay. And this is somehow a list of passwords that has been printed as well. And using this list, we got a script running to select regarding these variables our password. So it starts with AI, which is a coincidence, pretty nice coincidence. Now look at this. Oh my god, it's pretty crazy password. So let's make something like this and use it offline. Each time we need a password, you just run this script. So let's do it. This is very useful. Okay, so this is the list of letters that we are going to use, the list of numbers, and the list of symbols. Okay, and we have here, welcome to the password generator. Then we have number of letters, number of symbols, and number of numbers. Okay, and this is the thing that we use to generate this password. So I guess first step that we're gonna use is to actually import random module because we're gonna use it. Okay, so how should we do this? Like we type a certain, so we're gonna need to know how to manipulate these lists depending on the number of letters we have chosen. So for examples, we take this list and we actually take like from the very first thing, which is A, and then to our number that we want, for example, number of letters, and then we minus that with 1. Okay, and then we're gonna have the variable that we're gonna need, which is number of letters that we need. Okay, and these letters are gonna need to be random. So the question how to choose this randomness, okay? Interesting. I don't know. Like, really. So we need to have an idea before actually continuing this project. So we have stock. We don't know how to take a certain random number from here. Okay, so we're gonna need to digest this course. So we could use from here the for loop. So maybe the for loop is gonna be useful in this case. It's pretty complicated. So we gotta actually digest all of this in order to tackle this password generator project, okay? So we know what we want to make, we know how the initiative of the project looks like. Now we have to learn Python step by step. So let's go and
The
learn.
first topic I want to talk about
So we're gonna learn about loops, okay?
today is the concept of loops, things that have to happen over and over and over again. The first type of loop I want to introduce you to is something called the for loop, and it can be used really easily in combination with something we learned
So the for loop syntax is for an item in this list. We're gonna do something, okay?
in
Just understand
yesterday's
together.
lessons, which is lists. By using a for loop like this, we can go through each item in a list and perform some action with each individual item. So let's try it out in practice. First, let's say we had a list called fruits and it contained 3 items: apple, peach, and
Okay, so we're gonna make just another project, and it's gonna be for loops. So we're gonna take the task of for loops and we're gonna play with it. Okay, so I guess she's gonna just teach us that for fruits and fruits, then we're gonna do something with this. Okay. For example, we are going to calculate how much fruits we have, for example. Oh, just the very basic thing, actually, we're just gonna print each fruit. Okay, so we're just gonna print it. So we're gonna just print each fruit in this list. So we're gonna have apple, new line, peach, new line, pear, new line. Okay, let's try that. Yes, correct. So what for loop does is actually iteration. It iterates over a list. So we're gonna go from 0, 1, and 2. So for item in this list, like for this item or this item or this item, we're going to print each one as we loop through this list. Okay, so if we find here and we have, for example, let's say that the number of letters is 22 as input, so we have that. Okay, and for example, we're gonna say for number, so for letter, like for letter and letters, we are going to store a random character. So we're gonna take a random character, and remember we do have an AI that helped us to take a random item from a from a list like this. Okay, let's see. So this is the syntax that we need. Okay, so you can use random.choice to pick a random item from the list. Okay, interesting. Okay, So we could use this syntax. So let's think about it. So we need to challenge ourselves, okay? Little challenge won't hurt. Okay, so we're gonna take this item, we're gonna loop through it, we're gonna loop through this item, loop through this item, and loop through this item. Okay, interesting. So I guess we're gonna make a list. I'm gonna call it letters list. It's gonna be an empty list that we are going to work with. And okay, so we are going to go for a random element and letters. And how to do that? Maybe we could use random in here. Let's check that. Random dot choice. Then we use this function. Okay, hold on a second. So we use this function. And we use this letters list. See if that functions. No, we do have an error. Why do we have this error? Okay. Okay, interesting. I don't get it. It's a little bit difficult actually. Oh my god. This is a true challenge. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Oh my god. Actually, I could iterate through example. I don't know. I actually don't know. This is actually very difficult. We need to learn Python before we tackle this. So let's do it.
And pair. If we wanted to access each item in this list individually and print it out one by one, then we...
So yeah, that's very obvious. We just did that before. That's not a challenge. Okay, so here in Thonny, we are going to see how this actually functions step by step.
Through the Thonny IDE, which I told you about at the beginning of the course. Now, if I go ahead and click on the debug icon and I step into each of the steps, you can see first it establishes that we have a list of 3 strings, apple, peach, pear, and then we go into the for loop. Now, notice on the right here, I've got all the variables being accounted for. And the first one it's noticed is the variable fruits, which holds a list of strings. Now, as I continue into the for
Okay, that's very interesting.
loop, notice how it's going to look through this list of fruits and it's going to assign the variable name fruit to each of the items, starting from the first one, apple. So now, by the time it's reached line 3, we've already got this variable called fruit that's been assigned to the...
Okay, I understand. So we're gonna take this item from fruit and assign it to this new, okay, interesting. So the question for me is, how could I make a for loop that rather takes the first elements from the list to take a random element from the list and actually assign it 22 times. So this is the challenge that I don't know how to apply. Okay, so I think I need to so we need a for loop. Okay, let's just write this down here as to do. Okay, so I need a for loop that iterates the list randomly. So yeah, randomly 22 times. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I need a for loop that iterates the list randomly 22 times. Is this even possible? This is the question. We might cheat and use AI, but maybe we could just do it ourselves. So we need a for loop that iterates this letters list 22 times. And we're gonna see the randomly later. Okay, so we're gonna just write for loop first, and we're gonna take an element which is letter, and this letters list, which is this one. Okay, so we're gonna need to do this 22 times. Okay, I actually don't know how to implement that, but let's ask AI. So I have a list that is very big and I want to make a for loop like this, and I want this for loop to iterate 22 times. Let's do that. So we're gonna use range. You can use the range 22 to make a loop at least 22 times. You could do it. Okay, that's interesting. But I want to iterate. Oh, okay. Let's just not use AI too much because I have an idea. Okay, we could use actually so for time, let's just make this for time and range. Okay, range. So the range is gonna be number of letters that we have inputted. Okay, interesting. And then we're gonna make another for loop. And this for loop, we're gonna take a letter and the letters list. And then we're gonna do something with it, okay? So there's something I want to not take any normal letter from here, like from A, B, C, D. No, I want to take it randomly. So let's ask the second question to AI. So I have, let's see, I have this for loop, and I want to iterate through the letters list randomly in Python. Okay, so let's see. So this is the list, and okay, we could shuffle the list. Oh, this is very interesting. Okay, so for our case that we want to randomize all the characters, we could just shuffle these lists. So we could use random in here. Okay, random module. Then we're gonna use the shuffle function, and we're gonna call it, and we're gonna input the list that we have. And then we're gonna just do the same in here again for all other lists, which we have two lists, numbers and symbols. Interesting. Okay. And symbols, perfect. So for letter and letters, so I just have solved this randomness issue, and I have solved how much letters you want. So what we could use right now is to add to this letters list, which is the password list actually. Okay, so we're gonna make here passwords list. Yay. So we're gonna take the password list and we're gonna add to it a letter. Okay, so after this we're just gonna go and print. I know this syntax looks just weird, but I hope it works. We're going to print the passwords list. Okay, let's say that. Okay, how many letters do we want? We want 22. How much symbols you would like? 22. Okay, so this is the list of letters that we want. My god, that's a lot. How many? Those are not 22 letters actually. Oh my god, that's too much. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't get this. Why? Why is this too much? So let's just ask AI. Let's just ask him over here. And ask him, did I do the to-do list CD2 correctly? I have done a very bad crime actually by writing this code. Okay, let's see. We have an empty list. So for time in range number of letters, we are going to add a random choice, yes. And then we're going to print this. Okay, interesting. Okay, rather than using the shuffle, we're going to just remove the shuffle, and we're going to use this random.choice function, and see if it does work better than the shuffle one. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so here we have everything that we need, but we don't need to input anything at the moment because we are just testing our ideas. So let's get here, comment out all of that code that requires input, and just see how much letters we have. Okay, let's just choose 7 letters just to see if does it work or not. Okay, that's a lot of letters. That's all of them, and it's not working as it's supposed to be actually. Interesting. Why does this not work? We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Nothing has changed at all. Okay. So AI doesn't help as well in this time. Okay, I have failed. So you just continue to learn more about Python.
The value of apple. And so at this point, printing out the value of this fruit, it's obviously going to print out apple, as you'll see in the next step. There we go. Now, once I'm done here, then it's going to loop back to the start of the for loop. And now this variable fruit is going to be assigned to the next value inside the list of fruits. So now notice how the variable fruit is attached to the value peach. And then it continues this and so on and so forth.
Okay, that's interesting.
Multiple times. In this case, we're executing the print statement 3 times.
Okay, let's just look at
aspect
this
of
more.
loops. The loop allows us to execute the same line of code multiple times. In this case, we're executing the print statement 3 times. But our for loop isn't limited to just executing a single statement. We don't just have to print out the name of an item in the list. We can execute a whole block of statements multiple times. And we can do many things inside this for loop. And by inside, I mean indented.
Okay, that's interesting.
So let's say that in addition to printing out the fruit, I'm going to write another print statement, and I'm going to not only print out the name of the fruit, but I'm also going to say fruit plus space plus pie. So when I run this code, what do you think will happen?
We're going to add this string pie. So apple pie, peach pie, pear pie. Okay.
Through a list and assigns a variable name to each of the item thing with that temp. Talking a lot.
Okay, that's interesting.
And this is really, really important. Whenever you see a colon, say in our if statements that we saw previously or the for loop that we're using here, the indentation is really, really important, because if it's indented, then it means that it's inside the for loop.
Yeah, thank you for the info.
Imagine it's going to print that for as many times as the loop runs, which is going to be 3 because there's 3 items in our list. Now, if I had indented that back to the beginning, so now it's no longer inside.
Yeah, it's not indented in the for loop. That's correct. It's correct. So I guess for loops should not be used like this, right? Like a for loop after a for loop is kind of weird. Just ask AI if there's a better way to do this. Because this AI is a little bit stupid. Okay. Okay, interesting. So we take a random choice from letters and we add it to the password list. And we have only one for loop. Okay. Let's just look at this another time, because it is just stupid to use 2 for loops. It's not gonna function as it's supposed to be. Okay. Okay, so for time is just not as it's supposed to be, so we could use for x sounds a little bit better. And then we could use our empty password list, and we could add to this list a random choice, okay, from our letters list. Okay, to see this should be functioning. Yes, correct. It functions like butter. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so we're gonna do the same for symbols and the same for numbers. So the password list is gonna be intended many times with these letters and symbols and numbers. Okay, so we're just gonna do that real quick. Okay, so we're gonna make another for loop, x in range of number of symbols. We are just going to remove this because this functions just as intended. I guess we could do this project with a little help of AI. So number of numbers or symbols. We're gonna make symbols at first. Okay. And then we're gonna take our password list, and then we're gonna add to it a random choice. a random choice from the list of numbers. Okay, and we're going to do the same for symbols. So the number of numbers, actually, numbers of numbers, and the list of symbols in here. Yes, correct. So letters, symbols, numbers, yes, and all of that is gonna go to our list, password list. Okay, so we're gonna need two letters. Okay, so we have 2 letters, and we have 2 symbols, and we have 2 numbers. Okay, so I have an idea. So before we print our list of passwords, we are going to shuffle it. So we're gonna call our random module. We're gonna use the shuffle, and then we're gonna call this function, and then we're gonna input our password list, and then it's gonna be very randomized. Okay, it's gonna need one character. Okay, so we have one character, one symbol, one number. No, we want this to be more randomized. So let's just see our shuffle. Yes, it functions. So we have here symbols, numbers, and okay, interesting. So could we see a number at this side and at this side? Yes, it shuffles 100%, and it is 100% random. Okay, that functions as intended. So the thing that we need is to transform this password list into a string, a normal string that could be transformed into a password. Okay, so let's say I have a password, I have a list of strings, and I want to add up all of these strings into one variable that I could print. Okay, so let's see how this would work. So this is a normal string list, and then we are going to make our passwords with this syntax. AI just helps when you understand what you are trying to do, and your understanding is actually 100%, and when it is 100%, then AI is way better than Google. So don't use AI and say to him, please build me a password generator, and it would actually build it, but you won't get anything out of it. You won't gonna learn anything. Okay, so after we see this method that I have used with help of AI, we're gonna see the method used in the course, and we are going to compare if my method with AI was better or the method in the course was better. So here we're gonna make our password real quick. So we are going to shuffle the lists as first, and then we are going to define the password variable, and this variable is equivalent to empty 2 strings like that, and then we are going to use the join function. Okay, and then we are going to input the password list, and after that we could actually just print the passwords variable. Okay, and then we are going to have a functional randomized password as we did with the demo. So we're gonna take 5 letters, 7 symbols, and 3 numbers, there we go. So we have 1 number, 2 and 3 numbers. We have a bunch of syllables and we have a bunch of letters. And this is a very, very strong number, password that you could use to actually keep your account safe from hackers. Okay, you could actually use this script and use a wallet or a password manager where you could store your password, and you could use each password for each account and you will not get compromised. Okay, so this is the script. So we have worked in it and it seems to be functioning as the demo. So let's just say we are going to make an F string, and we're going to just make it like this. We're going to make here an F, make something like this, and we are going to say here is your password, and then we could use a column and a new line like this, and then we are going to have a password that looks way better. So new line, and yeah, that seems solid. So we want actually 5 letters, 7 symbols and 9 numbers. Okay, and this is the password. You could just copy it and use it in your daily usage, and we have made it with actually only 27 line of code, which is very, very little, which is crazy good. Okay, so we're gonna just take a look at the project and the end of this day. We're gonna see the syntax that Anjanella has used. So let's just take a look. So she makes a empty list called empty string called password, and she assumes that the number of letters is 4, and she makes for character in range 1, and okay, interesting. She just takes a random character from the random choice. Oh my god, this is just stupid. Why would you do all of this work? Like, rather than storing this random character and actually storing it in the password, you could just use a list, an empty list, and you could store all of that, and you could shuffle the list. It's gonna be way better than just assigning one random character and assign it to the password, which is gonna take a lot of more code. Okay, with the help of AI, you could actually achieve your goal. Okay. Okay, so we have here, as I said, so she just assigns this random character into the password, which is an empty string. And this takes a little while to get written. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's better. That's better than using a variable just to add that random character to the password. You just use this syntax, which looks way better. And this is actually the same syntax I used. She used the character rather than the X symbol that I'm using. She used number 1 and added over here, which is pretty neat, but this is way enough actually. So yeah, she does use the same technique. Okay, and adds up that to a variable, string variable, rather than a list, which she doesn't need this line of code anymore. Okay, but it is way better to have a list so you could actually shuffle again, which would make this way more random. Okay, this is beautiful, and just like that she could print the password.
Up to one.
Okay, interesting. It's actually interesting. Okay, and here we see that the password has been outputted and the script has been done, and we have exactly the same kind of thing. That's quite interesting. Okay.
I'll show you how to do it. But first, give it a go.
Okay, interesting. So after this moment
That you
what do we
haven't done
have?
before. But in essence, you've got access to everything you need to.
Okay, so we have an easy version and a hard version. So let's just take a look at it. So here's the demo, easy version, for the system was December. Let's look like this. Okay, you can see that all letters are together, all symbols are together, and numbers for each other as well. Okay, interesting. To solve this problem first. Hard version. This is the hard version that we have to focus on. Interesting. So when you've completed the easy version, you're ready to tackle the hard version. In the advanced version of this project, the final password does not follow a pattern. So just a moment. I'm just going to take a moment. So let's continue. Hold on a second.